Bridging the language barrier gap, trade and food security are among areas earmarked for improvement among nations with which Cuba is aligned. Prime Minister Honorable Dickon Mitchell outlined to members of the media other areas raised at the recently concluded Cuba CARICOM summit held in Barbados.
As you are aware, intra-regional travel, both amongst the OECS and amongst the wider CARICOM countries and by extension our Caribbean neighbors who speak Spanish, including Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti, which speaks French, Guadeloupe and Martinique, we do have significant challenge when it comes to intra-regional or south-south travel. The other area is that of food security. Guyana in particular has been championing the need for CARICOM and by extension Cuba to become more self-reliant. And so we identified areas where we may have a competitive advantage, for example, in honey production, not just within CARICOM, but within Cuba as well. And the need for us to collaborate and work better in addressing that area. Another obvious area is the issue of the language barrier. Perhaps it's the arrogance of speaking English, but there's a clear need for us in English-speaking Caribbean to ensure that more of our citizens are bilingual and that they particularly learn Spanish. So we certainly explored the need for student exchanges when it comes to assisting both the Cubans with learning English and the CARICOM English-speaking countries with learning to speak Spanish.
The PM indicated that there is a new drug that just might aid in the reduction of amputation.
Cuba's biotech and medical tech industry is an area that has also been identified as one that can help us a lot as well, particularly when it comes to the issue of non-communicable diseases. The number one, perhaps most readily identifiable one being diabetes, and the significant rates of amputation that basically stretches from Jamaica in the north to Guyana in the south. The Cuban biotech industries have developed a drug that significantly reduces the chance of amputations. And so we've talked about how we can collaborate to ensure that the drug becomes available within the region. The Cuban government has pledged 200 doses of the drug in the first instance, as well as training to our medical practitioners within CARICOM to be able to assist with that development.
The Prime Minister reminds us that it's 50 years since the CARICOM-Cuba relations were established, but he believes since then the countries are better positioned and as such have reiterated their commitments to maintaining their fraternal friendship with the government and people of Cuba.
50-year American blockade against Cuba continues to have a devastating impact on the lives of ordinary Cubans. And that is something that CARICOM feels that we can still play a significant role in getting the Americans to see the errors of that policy and why it's counterproductive, and for CARICOM to take a lead role in advocating and continuing to advocate for the lifting of the blockade and for the removal of Cuba from the terrorists, from the list of countries that sponsor terrorism.
Cuban President His Excellency Miguel Diaz-Canel departs Grenada today following a two-day visit to the island. While here, His Excellency met and held discussions of mutual interest with Prime Minister the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, paid a visit to the Cuban monument at the Maurice Bishop International Airport, and